Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had to stop the lecture for a while. So now with this, we can go to the influence of linguistics. And as I said, the discussion is very interesting in this area. Those who believe that the translation study is one branch of linguistics, they say is that the translation studies have derived terms from linguistics, and they also say that a lot of common things, and they are identical, both areas are identical, and so on and so forth. We will see the importance of these arguments just after some time. Actually, the point here is, this is true that translation studies has learned a lot from linguistics. Because what is translation studies? In a simple definition, we can say a research area which deals with more than two languages, where the two languages are interacting with each other. One language is translated to other, and the vice versa is also there. In this context, of course, translation studies has learned a lot from linguistics in general, not in pedagogy, and in pedagogy in particular, because the techniques that are used in teaching a language are still used in the teaching of translation courses to that extent. And especially the area of contrastive linguistics, where the comparison and contrastive studies take place between two languages is done, is the area where we can directly say that if I contrast language 1 with language 2, and language 2 with language 1, at grammar level, at word level, lexical level, structural level, style level, whatever, this of course directly helps the contrastive analysis between two languages. One of the areas of research in translation studies. All everything is true in this context. But the point is that on the basis of this, should we consider translation studies one branch of linguistics? The answer now in this 20th century, 2019, is big no. Because now translation studies has developed. It has become independent and interdependent at the same time. It is independent with its own theories, theoretical frameworks, principles, methods, steps, strategies, procedures, and so on. And also it is also being influenced by other areas. You see the influence of linguistics more than empty than human translation. We say that the influence of linguistics still is consistent with the machine translation, but the dynamic human translation, the influence of linguistics as such, are not too much now, right now in 21st century. Influence of other fields on translation studies. When we talk of the linguistics, actually we ignore the influence of other fields on translation studies. Psychology is also influencing translation studies and translation pedagogy, of course. The Our cognitive processes, when we do some research in the area of translation process, so the cognitive processes from where we get help in this, or we take techniques for doing research in this area, is psychology. So we get help from the psychology as well. The function side, product side, is maybe we can say the contrastive analysis, but the function side, as for the function side is concerned, we see what translation is, how translation affecting on a certain translation on a group of people, is a social aspect of the translation study. So the translation studies is being influenced by sociology in general. There are other areas that are not, that are very very far away from the linguistics, even applied linguistics, where we say the status of translator in the society, sociology of translation. There are areas which touch the, translation studies have also benefited from comparative literature, have also taken a lot from the literary criticism. have also learned a lot of things from the terminography, where the terminologies are made. I mean, the influences on translation studies as such, and through translation studies on translation pedagogy, the things are there are, surrounded by many things, not only linguistics, or not only the translation theory. Of course, translation theory is within the translation studies, but the linguistics. So this claim that the translation studies is a branch of linguistics, or the remaining, arguments, they actually stand invalid when we see that the translation studies and ultimately the translation pedagogy is influenced by many other areas. Anyways, you see this image where we are, of course, discussing the various aspects of the linguistics affecting translation pedagogy. So we can say that maybe this machine is just helped. Don't take it literally. It helped in paving the path, but the path was made by different machinery was used for the earlier stages, when the preparation was underway, and also the material used. So there are different machineries also there, the material that is used, and in the end we can say this small part is being, you know done by a portion of applied linguistics. So this should be very clear to our future researchers and for our students in the area of translation studies, that the general impression or the perception is old one. Is it has, things have will change a lot, and those who don't know, it is their problem. But because we know that the things are not the same as they were 50 years ago, so now translation studies itself is an independent area of research, taking influence from many surrounding areas, including linguistics. With this, we can move on to the computers. Influence of computers, I think we don't need to talk too much. The importance of computer is this one. The developments in computers started in 19 in the previous century, 1950s, early 50s, and then things started developing rapidly. And nowadays, if we want to just enumerate what are the main things that are affecting, that are actually influencing translation studies or translation, or the machine learning. Artificial intelligence is the mother of all branches of computer science that is influencing translation, machine translation tools or translation technology. Then the machine learning, then get tools, software development, algorithm, and natural language processing. NLP stands for natural language processing. So the influence of computers, I think, is more obvious, is more clear, because actually it's this area of computer software, computer sciences, is influencing almost all the fields, the all the branches of knowledge, or the whole human, life. So translation studies is one part, and the translation, but the development that are taking place in this area are, marvelous, and it is expected that the influence will enhance in near future as well. Okay, we can see this again with the help of an image, that how the developments in the area of computers influencing machine translation, translation technology. The human interference is now, becoming less and less with the passage of time. So there is a source text put, and then the result is target output. So this simple image tells us the current situation, and can also explain for the researchers what would be the status of machine translation in future. And I always say in near future, because the speed of the research and the speed of the the developments in this area is very fast. Okay, in this presentation or lecture, we have discussed the influence of translation theory, the influence of linguistics, and the influence of computers, and also we discussed the influence of other areas on translation studies, and through translation studies on translation pedagogy. Uh, the activity that I would like to give you is, because I always put emphasis on understanding and not just going through or reading. The activity is that can you write 5 sentences, five with your own language, in your own style, in English or Arabic, where you say, okay, I think translation pedagogy is influenced by. So you can start with this. I think translation pedagogy is influenced by colon number one, number two, number three, number four. So with this activity, although I give you some activity, individual and group activity, but when I meet, I forget it. So you remind me that you have given us this activity, and now it is. You should also, take the feedback, so that I take your example that you are writing in this assignment, in this activity, individual. This is not group. Every individual is required to write 5 points under this to complete this. I think the influence, translation pedagogy is influenced by one, two, three, four. Of course, you can also include the point that you have learned here, but the only thing that should be different is your style of writing or your style of expression or answering, filling these 5 points. As for the next assignment is concerned in this course is the chapter from the book. The title is Theoretical Components in Interpreter and Translator Training. This chapter occupies a lot of many pages. So I think I shall be finishing this chapter in 2 lectures. So you can prepare yourself. You can prepare yourself till the till before the beginning of 6 potential benefits of theoretical components in interpreter and translator training. So in this chapter, so you are required to read carefully and critically point number 1, which is the role of training in interpreting and translation, or translation, yeah. And also point number 2 is the components of translation competence with its subheadings. Point number 3 is the diversity of training requirement. I'm sorry, training requirement. Number 3. Number 4 is the need for optimization in formal translation training, and then number 5 is the process oriented approach in translator training, till the end of the next page before the beginning of point number 6. So this is next advanced reading assignment for you people. Thank you very much for being attentive, and sorry once again for the disturbance that was created by some of unavoidable reasons. Take very good care, and inshallah we will meet tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.